Alright, as promised, we're going to take a look at how we would import JSON into Excel. But really what this is about is a few tips on how you can really work with any kind of data to bring it into Excel, and also known as parsing, where you're taking data in one format and converting it to another. So let's take a look at our options here. As usual, you can just write regular code that would do this, write it directly into a spreadsheet, no problem, but sometimes you just have a chunk of JSON you want to grab, you don't want to go write a program, so we'll show you how to do that. There's code you can write in Excel, detailed code that would parse particular JSON. Libraries out there that people have built to do that. But we're going to use just Excel built-in functions. Now, an easy way to do this is to take your JSON file and convert it to CSV. If you do that, then you can just import it into Excel. But again, we're really trying to learn a little bit more about how we parse data in Excel. So I'm using this JSON to Excel conversion as an example of some of the new functions that are available in the newer versions of Excel. Okay, so this is essentially what the steps are going to be. We're going to clean the data a little and remove the double quotes and the commas. We'll copy the data into a new Excel spreadsheet in the first column, and we'll add two new columns for the key and the value. So this is assuming that we wanted to parse a big set of key value data. And then we're going to use TEXTBEFORE and TEXTAFTER functions, which we'll demonstrate, and then we'll just copy that down. And that'll work great. So let's take a look at our data. So here's our Airbnb data that we've been working with, and what I'm going to do is clean this up a little bit by removing the opening curly brace and the closing curly brace. So we'll do that real quick. Get down here to the bottom. Okay, then what we will do, again, you could convert this to CSV even in the editor by doing the find and replace functions that I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is get rid of all the double quotes and get rid of the commas. Now this can be problematic if you have quotes inside of your values or commas in here, but you'll have to consider that with your data, so just be aware of that. So there is a replace function in Notepad++ where I can simply say take anything that's a double quote, replace it with nothing, and it'll take it a moment to do this because there's a lot of data in here. Remember, we could just be creating a JSON file to do this with some code. So however you generated your JSON file, you could also output CSV or any data format really that you wanted. Okay, so that's done. We'll do the similar thing with the comma. Just tell it to replace all. Okay, so that's done, and I'm not going to copy all 300,000 lines over just in the interest of time, so I'll just grab the first few, grab about 90 rows here. And the next step is we're going to copy this into a blank worksheet. So here it goes in the first column. Okay, so this is fine, but if we want to extract the key and the value into two separate columns, which is how the data would usually present in Excel, we need to parse or break this apart. Now there's a couple of different ways you could do it. There's some split functionality where you can give it a character and it will split for you, but there's a few new functions that I wanted to point out to you. One is called TEXTBEFORE. The parameters are the cell and then the character that you want to grab the text before. So watch what this does. If I do text before on A1 colon with a colon delimiter, it's going to just peel off that first part, the 183319. And then a similar function is text after. So similar thing. Give it the cell that you want to get the text after, and then it will pick up all the text after the character that you designate. Now this obviously assumes you don't have colons embedded in your data, and then once you have these two, it's simply copy down like we've done in the past. And so there you go, there's your data parsed out into two separate columns. Again, there's many different ways to do this, and I'm not saying that you should always do it this way, but if you just need a quick and easy way to parse data in Excel, I'm using JSON as an example. These new functions, text before and text after, are great. These functions are not available in Excel in Office 2013, and they've been added recently, but there's a whole bunch of new functions like this to deal with text, so it makes Excel a very powerful tool to be able to do some quick manipulation of your data. So again, let's go back and just review what we did. We cleaned the data, we removed the double quote and the comma, we copied the data to a new sheet, we added two new columns for the key and the value, we used text before on the first of those two columns and text after on the second of those two, and then we just did a copy down. So that's it. More Excel tips here and there to come. Hopefully this has been useful for you. Please make sure that you like and comment and subscribe. Thank you.